Hi, my name is Matt Yoder and I'm a developer on the Access Allocations team. We've been working hard to incorporate your feedback and make the Allocations website experience even better. Today I'm going to give you a tour of the site and demonstrate how you can use it to manage your Access projects. The first change you'll notice is our redesigned homepage. Here you can learn about allocations and resources and see statistics about community activity over the last month. We've also redesigned the navigation menus to make it easier to find documentation. To get started, I'm going to log in using my Access account. Once I'm logged in, I see a listing of all my projects, as well as buttons to request a new project or get help. We'll get back to those buttons at the end of the tour. I can return to this page from anywhere in the site by clicking the My Projects link in the navigation menus. Within each project, I see the most recent request by default. This project also has past requests, and I can access them using the drop-down menu. Past requests are read-only, so I won't be able to make changes to resources or manage users while viewing a past request. Since the current request is nearing its end, I see a button to extend the project end date. Clicking this button brings up a list of actions I can choose from to modify the project. In this case, my project is eligible for an extension of its end date or a supplement of additional credits. I can also open a ticket with the Allocations team to request help. My project isn't currently eligible for a renewal, since the end date is still more than 30 days away. Returning to the project details, there are 4 tabs with information about my project. The Overview tab includes tables that provide a summary of the request. The Resources table shows resources that are currently available in this project, the balance or amount remaining on each resource, and my username on the resource, which in my case is different from my Access username. The Users and Roles table shows who holds project roles, such as PI, co-PI, Allocation Manager, and User. The Actions table shows actions that have been taken to modify this request and their status. The Credits and Resources tab provides a more detailed view of the Access credits and resources available in this project. The donut chart shows a breakdown of the project. In this case, about half the original Access credits have been exchanged for resource units on Bridges to GPU and Ocean, and the other half are still available. The bar beside the donut chart shows how much of each resource is remaining. Since I'm the PI on this project, I can request changes to the resource amounts and exchange credits for resources. This project has plenty of Access credits remaining, but if I were running out of Access credits and had low balances remaining on my resources, I could click the button to request more credits. In this case, clicking it brings up a warning suggesting that I try adjusting my balances instead. So let's do that. You can see in the table that currently I have almost 101,000 Access credits available, almost 1,000 GPU hours remaining on Bridges to GPU, and 10,000 gigabytes available on Ocean. Let's increase our balance on Bridges to GPU to 2,000 GPU hours. This is the amount of the resource I want to have remaining after the action is complete. You can see that as soon as I click outside the text box, my available Access credit number adjusts to reflect the requested balance. I can also decrease my balance on other resources to make more Access credits available. Let's decrease the balance on Ocean to 5,000 gigabytes since this project doesn't require much storage. Finally, I can add a new resource to the project. Let's add Bridges to regular memory and change the requested balance to 20,000 core hours. Before I can submit my exchange request for approval, I need to enter a brief explanation of how the requested resources will be used in my research. We know no one likes to justify their decisions, but this explanation helps the resource provider to make sure the resources are appropriate for my project. Clicking Submit for approval brings up a summary of the changes I'm requesting. Once I've confirmed the changes are correct and that the request includes all the resources I need, I can click the Submit button to send my request to the resource provider. All changes to resources require approval, which can take a few days. I can come back to this page at any time to check the status of my exchange request. The Users and Roles tab shows all the users in my project and the resources they have access to. To change which users have access to a resource, I can check and uncheck the boxes in that user's row. I can also change the role dropdown to make the user an allocation manager. Allocation managers can make changes to the project, including managing resources and users. Let's make Demo User 1 an allocation manager for this project. To submit the change, I need to click the Save Changes button at the bottom of the page. I can also add new users to a project. Let's search for and add a user named Demo User 2. By default, this user will be added to all the resources on this project, but I can uncheck some of the boxes to limit this user to specific resources. Once again, I need to click the Save Changes button to submit these changes. Adding and removing user accounts is handled by the resource provider and can take some time. A newly added user can log into the Access Allocations website and check the status of their account on the Overview tab. User accounts that have not been created will show pending in the My Username column. The History tab shows a summary of the changes that have been made to projects. The table shows the type and date of each action, its status, and the associated changes to resource amounts. For recent actions, the action name will appear as a link. Clicking one of these links brings up more details about the action. For projects that have been renewed, like this one, I can use the arrow buttons beneath the table to navigate between requests. This allows me to see the full history of the project from the initial request until the present. When I'm ready to start a new project, I can use the Request New Project menu to choose the project type I want and start the request process. Clicking the Help Me Choose a Project Type option will take me to documentation explaining the differences between the project types. New project requests should not be used for continuations of existing projects. To continue work on my current project, I can click the Extend End Date button and choose the appropriate option for my situation. The Allocations team is here to support you. Clicking the red Get Help button brings up a menu with options for getting assistance. The Learn How to Manage Allocations link takes you to our how-to documentation page with instructions for completing common tasks. You're likely to find answers to many of your questions on this page. If you still can't find what you need there, the Submit a Help Ticket option will allow you to get in touch with us. Just make sure to choose Allocation Question under Access Support Issue so that the ticket gets assigned to our team. I hope this tour has been helpful. If you have ideas about how we can make the site better, we'd love to hear from you. Our Get Involved page, which you can find in the About menu, has links to our feedback form and other ways you can provide input on the allocations process. Thanks for watching.